No, right. All right, Spaceman, we're finally live just for you. We've been actually doing the show behind the scenes, waiting on our good friend Brandon to get here. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is your Impact Attack After Dark with myself, Colin Wysong, here with my main man, the vet, each and every week. Brandon is MIA again. I'm sure he will show up midway through the show as soon as we start talking about Moose.
Hmm.
That's usually around the time that Brandon kind of shows up.
Right.
Um,
Smart man. Smart man.
so Canada Spaceman apparently left and is now back because we started the show just for him. We might need to send the shout out to Canada Spaceman while you're out there. Let all the people know that we're live. Let Society Reviews. Let Sonic. Who else comes? Buckshot Kid.
Buckshot kid.
Buckshot Kid. Who else? That guy Opinion Haver that sometimes floats around in the
Yeah, he don't
chat.
say much, but sometimes he.
Colin has thrown off his hijab. Yes. Yes. I got the American trucker hat on that says legendary dad.
It's
Yeah.
nice. It's
Yeah.
nice. Which truck stop did you pick that up at?
Ben Hameen is my tribal chief. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know which one I picked this up at. Brandon, what's up? Welcome to the show, Senor.
Yeah. What's going on, gentlemen? What is up? Not a whole lot.
Right.
That is cool. Is Ben Hameen your tribal chief?
Of course.
Of course. That is the correct answer. What about you, Vet?
I believe I'm Ben Hameen's tribal chief because when people talk about it, like they say that he puts me over all the time in those Monday locker rooms or whatever, saying I got to straighten up and or you got to straighten up around the vet. I don't know.
I
What do you
do.
guys
I gotta
think?
straighten up around the vet. I gotta
Am I
have better posture.
am I too dictatorial for everyone?
Never,
No.
never,
No, not at all.
never, never.
Uh,
I think you vamp for a little bit. I'm going to tweet out that we're live. Maybe pull some people in the chat here. Maybe pull some people in to watch the show. And yeah, did you guys check out that Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder fight this weekend? Oh my gosh, the greatest
actually,
boxing match of this generation.
actually, I did. I did. And I have to say, well, it was it was something, all right. I don't know if it was the greatest boxing match of this generation, but either the standards have gotten way lower or everybody's just so excited to have something that doesn't appear to be on the circus level of something like a Triller event where you've just got a freak show anomaly of celebrities fighting and stuff like that. Maybe you wanted something a little more legitimate, and you just couldn't stand to watch the clown car open up and have all these guys pile out. Ex presidents, everything. Maybe that's just not your thing, and you wanted to see something that's slightly more legitimate. But I've got some thoughts on that fight. I'll probably talk more about it with Big Ray on Next Level because I know he's probably going to want to talk about it. He's not going to want to
Ew,
talk about it. You don't think
Why would
so?
you want to talk about that with Ray when you have me?
Well,
You
I
can talk
do
about
want.
it with me.
Well, I want to talk about it with you, Colin,
Or I
but
could
I'm
come on
vamping for
Wednesday
you.
and we
I'm
could talk
vamping for you
about
while
it.
you do the social media
God,
things. Are you ready now?
that. I'll just come on Wednesday. It's okay. We'll just talk about it
Can
Wednesday.
you?
I can because I'm off on Wednesday.
All right. Well,
You don't pay any attention to me around here, vet. I told you
I
my days off. How
that
dare
was
you? I'm
I
going on
mean,
strike like the pilots at Southwest Airlines.
oh,
Moose
That's
should
the
go on
that,
strike.
that's the weather.
That's
Don't you
it's
agree? That's the
it's the
weather.
weather. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
The
all across
weather's
the
bad
country.
here. It's really nice here in the closet. I oh gosh. Shh,
now
shh. Oh, there's static. I
now,
gotta go,
fellas,
guys.
tread carefully because I don't know if they've added any new words to the flag list. Some of them may be cardinal directions on the map. Some of them may
Aeronautical
just
miles. Cannot
yeah,
talk
just
about aeronautical miles.
right. If we want to be live here for Canada Spaceman, we got to watch what we say about all kinds of things now. That's just the world that we live in, and it's fine. I'm fine with it. I'm okay with it. But yeah. So what do you want to say about this? extravaganza, I guess we'll call it, that we saw on Saturday night with this unnecessary trilogy fight.
It was not. It was totally necessary. It was totally necessary because Deontay Wilder was clearly tired after wearing that bionicle suit that he wore the first time around. His trainer threw the towel in, so we didn't get to see him go out on his shield like we did in this third fight. Like this fight was totally necessary, especially after Anthony Joshua went out there and laid an egg against Usyk, and now we've got a new champion that totally throws the Anthony Joshua Tyson Fury, unification bout into some trouble there. Now he's going to have to fight Usyk, a guy he's already beaten. So this Deontay Wilder was totally a necessary fight to have here with this third match here. And of course, the right man won again for the third time. He should have won the first fight, even though it was a draw.
Right. So he really won 3 straight times. That's
He
why
won
I
three
say
straight times, just like how Triple G really beat Canelo both those times they fought.
Yep.
Rick's
Okay. Well, the short version of this is
short version. How that
no,
man
well,
get knocked out.
yeah. This I don't know what
Both men
every
got knocked out.
I know. Yeah, I know. What you saw there on that night, and especially the other nights, but certainly this night, I didn't have the same feeling when I don't think I watched the first fight. I watched the second fight, and when I watched this fight, I was like, yeah, this is a work. It's 100% of a work. And one of
Probably
these
more
guys
so on Fury's side though than Deontay Wilder's side.
one of these guys, well, yeah, that was the whole thing. They basically told Deontay Wilder what was up, and that's fine. They put on the best show that they could, but to the trained eye, you'd have to be like, you would really have to be suspicious of what went on in this. I mean, one of these guys was in the WWE wrestling Braun Strowman, for God's sake. Don't think he didn't pick up a thing or two.
I don't need to have this conversation with Ray.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. That's what's gonna be great.
I gotta be here for this Wednesday. On the
Definitely show up for that, because Ray's not gonna like it. But he's clinging to boxing as like a real sport, I think. And but I'll set him straight. But yeah, this was kind of I mean that was my take on it. Brandon, did you see it? Did you see the fight or any highlights of it?
I had to work, unfortunately, but I was hearing a bunch of stuff on Twitter, and they're saying it was a decent fight. At least they're saying.
Oh, I had to work too. I don't watch this shit live. Kidding me? I go back after the fact. That's the best way. But yeah, it's good. Good sports entertainment fight. And I think that's kind of that's kind of a theme that people kind of have to look at to put things in perspective sometimes when you're looking at all these combat sports, but especially pro wrestling. It's like, you can say what you want about pro wrestling. Supposed to be entertainment. It's supposed to be a variety show. It's supposed to be, all these different things. But at the end of the day, what guys like Vince McMahon and Dana White and stuff have in common, and Tony Khan even, like, they have to understand that at the end of the day, their job description is fight promoter. Because if you don't have some match to promote, you don't have any business. Would you sit there and watch like the kind of intermatch skits and little promo packages and stuff like that if there were never any matches on Monday Night Raw or Impact Wrestling or AEW? Like, would you sit there and watch these guys just be characters if there was never any fights? Like, they're bad actors, they're bad comedians, like, there's nothing interesting in the stories that they come up with, that it's just stuff that's already been done hundreds of times before, but better in other forms of media and in pro wrestling itself in certain occasions. So it's like, you have to come up with a reason why people will watch your show. And ultimately, that's what it is. People continue to watch stuff like the WWE because they hope that they might see a decent match at some point down the road. Like if they get the Brock versus Lashley match that supposedly, you know, that has been in the works or whatever, they want to see if it's really going to happen. They're not sitting there trying to watch Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss trying to get to that shit. You know what I mean? Like nobody's trying to see that. That's not entertaining on its own. It's stuff that you tolerate because you hope to see a good fight, whether that fight is a worked or a shoot or whatever the case may be, or a worked shoot, like, you know, this last Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder fight. You just want to see who's going to win between these two people. That's at the core of human curiosity. If you want to take it back to the Roman Colosseum days and everything like that, you throw a guy in with some lions and want to see if the human might overcome the lions, or you just want to see the human get ate up. It doesn't matter what it is. We want to see who's going to win. That's the eternal burning question. So whether the fights are real or not, that's still, to this day, that is the core of what we are trying to do. They're all fight promoters. They're all trying to sell fights. And whenever they get further and further away from that, that's, I think, where the big detachment comes from the general audience, the people that would be considered casual fans or, you know, hardcore fans. The hardcore fans are staying because they're just clinging to the hope that they're going to see something entertaining, even when they're not, a week after week, month after month. And the casual fans know, like, I don't have to watch this shit. If something does happen, I'll go back and watch it. I don't need to be there live. I don't need to be in the moment. You know, I think that's truly where the division is, and that's where the issue is. The issue is we can't keep people interested enough on a recurring basis to maintain a significant audience from week to week.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense. I was going to bring up the Ken Shamrock thing. Like, people always make a big deal of Ken Shamrock, and he was involved in a lot of worked shoot kind of fights in Pancrase way back in the day. And it's like, yeah, he's legit, but a lot of his early stuff, again, when he fought Minoru Suzuki and a lot of those things, it was a work shoot. So there was some work involved, and he might not have been the one that knew about the work, because a lot of times they don't tell both parties. You might just know one guy is out there just to take the dive, and you might think that you're out there to go kick some ass, and that's how these things work.
Well, Boss Rutan said that multiple times, right? That he didn't know of any fixed fights he was in, but I'm like, oh yeah, then you probably weren't the guy.
You weren't. I mean,
that's fine, but that's
what is full of dudes getting put in the ring because they owed the Yakuza money in some way, shape, or form, or they owed someone money, and they were like, next thing they know, it's like, all right, you're fighting Vanderlei Silva. Good luck.
Well, dude, you have to at some point you have to come to grips with the fact you can be a denial as long as you want, but if sports are going to get bet on, they can be fixed and they will be fixed. Doesn't matter what it is. It could be something easy to fix like a one-on-one fight, or a team sport like football, which is much more complicated, but you can still steer the direction. And I think with the rise over the past decade and stuff of, like, you know, online betting and gambling sites and stuff, like, look, what was all over the ring in that Wilder Fury fight? FanDuel. FanDuel's on the canvas. FanDuel's on the fucking ropes. Like, you mean to tell me that some of those knockdowns weren't for prop bets? Like, is that what you're saying? So, yeah. And then as for the what you're saying about Pancrase and stuff, like, yeah, you have to, if you're trying to get something over, you have to be able to make stars in that sport or create interest. You know what I mean? And you have to be able to guarantee that the people that you want to draw money are going to be able to draw money. You know, you can manufacture this and try to set it up. Like I think Andrei Arlovsky's a good example of a guy. They were like, I'm not saying that he's not legit, but I am saying the UFC definitely wanted him to be a big star, right? Like the way they set him up to be a big star. Not saying that, you know, well, it's like
behind him.
It's like the Rocky 3 thing, you know. They was handpicked.
I mean, like, the dude like was back when he first came out, was knocking out Paul Buentello and those guys. The dude was chiseled. He had like the James Bond like chest hair, the look. He had the long hair. and he had the fangs. He was just like, all right, he wears the fangy mouth guard. So it's like there was a whole package
Mm-hmm.
that was built around this guy to
Right.
like put him out there for people
Right.
but they did that with Chuck too. I mean, think about
Sure.
they improved it with the Iceman and like
Right.
him just blitzing dudes and knocking dudes out, and they slowly started to put the machine behind them. But much like the WWE, when you get bigger than the machine, they start to, oh, now it's a team sport. It's all about the UFC, which is what the UFC's done now. They
Yeah.
end up killing their own sport to make themselves more money in a sense. Don King did it. He put boxing, which was so popular on television, and took it and put it in pay-per-view, and it basically killed the sport.
Well, it's you say killing the sport, but at the same time, it's like, what was the sport? Look at the sport when it first started, and it was barely a sport, and they couldn't get commissioned. So it had, things
Same
things
rules.
like
Unified
yeah.
rules are the unified rules are total bullshit, anyways.
I mean, they're less fun, but I'm just saying, like, that's what without that, it would have been extinct. It would have been something we talked about. Hey, look, remember Ultimate Fighting? We talk about that the way we
They'd have
want.
still had it. That
Talk
stuff was
about
still
the-
going on. That stuff was,
But
like,
it would be,
still going on.
yeah,
behind
tough
closed
man
doors and stuff
competitions
like
are
that.
still going on.
Yeah, but they
you
would
don't
have
see
done it
them
in
anywhere.
Japan and other countries. Like the fighting would have been huge in like Poland and in Russia and Dagestan and those types of places.
With
They would have-
with all due respect,
KSW.
what's big in those countries doesn't matter to the rest of the world.
Well, I know, but it
With all
doesn't-
due respect,
but these guys still would have been out there fighting. There still would have been Muay Thai. There still would have been, Helio Gracie didn't have the UFC, and he was still going around the world getting tapped out by Japanese dudes, right?
yeah, sure. But anyway, this is a long tail on this kite.
What are your 2 cents on all of
Right.
this?
Yeah.
Well, as far as the fixing stuff goes, Disco Inferno had brought up something interesting back because when we were talking about, or at least with the Astros cheating scandal, is like if you're fixing matches and fixing games and stuff, that can actually be considered fraud because you're basically defrauding gamblers,
that are
people
betting,
who are betting, because they're like, hey, I would have won if you had not done this. So you can actually build a fraud case.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense because again, Vegas, like a lot of this jokingly, people were saying that they didn't believe the election results until Vegas actually certified the odds on who won as president on the betting, because then because there's no going back on once Vegas cashes out. They're not going to go back. Oh gosh, Trump actually won. We got to get all this money back from these people that voted for Biden. Like they're not going to do it. The money's gone. The money's changed hands. That's a really, really good point. Anything else?
That's really about it. I mean, I don't really watch much boxing. I mean, I more remember Tyson and the Holyfield stuff more than anything, and the Logan Paul and that. But that's more work. That's just definitely all work.
Oh, that's total all work. That's all work.
But you need great pros to pull off a great work.
You do.
Because
And I
if
think-
you can, all you need is for people to have that. It's just like in the courtroom. All you need to do is provide reasonable doubt. You see, Wilder and Fury trading knockdowns and stuff like that, and you're like, oh, best fight I've ever seen, greatest fight of this generation, all this stuff, right? It's just
It was awesome. It was such
Yeah.
a great fight, back and forth.
yeah,
Manufactured.
just like it
All
would
fair
in
fun.
real life.
Just
The
throw,
Matrix.
throw a little bit of shoot in there, and you believe the rest of it.
There was a little bit. Those guys were really punching each other.
Yeah, it was real punches.
It was real. They were real. They were really chopping each other. They
Here's
really went through that table. That table wasn't gimmicked.
Here's the
Those
thing.
chair
Yeah,
shots were real.
Wilder went through a table. Did you?
It
So
wasn't a Japanese table. Those things work stiff.
yeah, definitely, dude. So here's the deal. When you do stuff like that, the biggest thing you run into is when you've already and I don't claim to know how they go about doing it. I don't know if they plan out their whole match in the back, like a wrestler, or if they just kind of talk. I saw Tyson Fury talking to him in the ring. Now everybody's gonna say that that's just trash talk in the clinch or whatever, but it's like, yeah, okay.
No, there was one time I saw him communicating with him. I'm
Right.
like, yo, he literally just told him to come
He
at
called
him.
the
He was
spot.
just kind of like, yo, like come at me, like yo, come throw some punches,
Yeah.
like it. Yeah,
He called the spot. But so the problem is
I didn't
when
see
you
him
do
a
those,
drop down.
when you have those called spots in the moment, like if it doesn't look as good as you were expecting it to, and you follow through with it anyway, that's where you can start to see through it. So the people that want to believe, they don't see that, but people like me who's seen enough boxing in their lifetime to realize, like, okay, I see what happened here. They can pick out those spots where it's like, oh, that was supposed to be one of the good real shots, but it didn't look as good and it didn't land as flush as they probably wanted it to, and he went down anyway. You know, that type of thing. I always go back to the Brock Lesnar and Randy Couture. Remember that, Colin? I'm sure you remember that, right? Mm-hmm. That phantom back fist that took Randy Couture down. It was kind of like, to me, tell me if this is your read on the match that they had. Randy Couture muscled Brock Lesnar around for the better part of a round and a half just to show that who the real wrestler was and who the real fighter was. And then he was supposed to go down to the back fist. The back fist completely whiffed, but he went down anyway, and they went on with the rest of their finish. Coincidentally, around the time that Randy Couture was going to start making some Scorpion King movies and step away from fighting, they wanted to put the belt on Brock Lesnar, okay? Very wrestling. Is that what you saw when that happened?
Yeah, okay. Pretty much. Pretty much. But the belt shouldn't have even been on Randy Couture in the first place. It should have been on fucking Brandon Brandon Vera. Brandon Vera should have been that fucking. He beat Randy Couture in that fight. He got jobbed. He got jobbed in that 5-round. You don't let it go to the fucking judges.
Never let it go to the judges unless that is the called play in the back.
But get me started on terrible judging. We'll be here all night.
Let's not.
Speaking of terrible judging or terrible judgment, have any of you ever invested in any shit coins, aka altcoins, aka Dogecoin? Anybody here? Raise your hand. Yeah, me too, buddy. And guess what? Hopefully, me and you will become Shiba-naires, as Shiba Inu has like skyrocketed here recently in the last week or so. Hopefully, you got in $100. Like at least a week ago would have gotten you like 30, 40 million coins. Vets over here just like
this is the part where I quietly sit back and let you guys have a discussion.
So I don't know if there's anybody in the chat that is into the old crypto here, but definitely it is something that is changing. I know, Vet, you and I had a little conversation about this at the start of the show. They're actually trying to do stuff. Like, that's the crazy thing about Doge, right? The hype around Doge was, Doge, da-da-da-da, right? And Elon got behind it. It just shot up or whatever, right? There's no use for it. Like, there's absolutely no use for it, right? So, but Shiba, they're trying to find uses for it. They're trying to create a website for you to do swaps, for you to do things. They're trying to make an NFT platform. They're trying to make a decentralized like type of thing. Their only drawback is they have so many coins in circulation. That's kind of the biggest thing, is that they need to cut down on the amount of coins that they have in circulation, because if it did ever hit a penny, it would have a market cap that would be greater than all of the nations' GDPs put together and most of the companies like put together in the world. So yeah, that's where it gets a little ridiculous in that sense.
That'd be nuts.
Right. What about you, Vet? Would you be down to see something like that happen?
I just want to clarify for the record, for anybody else that's new to this crypto thing or whatever, that when he says there are coins in circulation, there are absolutely no coins. No coins exist. There aren't like little gold coins of shit with dogs on them floating around that you can actually hold in your hand. Just to be 100% clear, just for everybody that's not familiar with the concept of it. But yeah, whatever you said, I'm gonna give you one of these. And that's about as much as I'm going to contribute.
There are tokens and coins in circulation. They're just on the net. They're in the metaverse. We've all seen the Matrix. You will be plugged into one of these pods one day, Vet, and you will work your lovely job.
I do like what's funny is to me. What I always find interesting about it, just in the sense of curiosity, is like, first of all, we as a civilization already made up money, and then Now we have to go
even more made up money.
Yeah, we have to go one step further, and now we don't have the physical goods. We just declare, hey, this is money and it exists, and you can give me real money if you want to have some of it. You don't actually have it though. You just it just exists.
You do have
you
it.
don't,
You have it in your wallet.
but you don't have it though.
Keep it in your wallet. Yeah, it's in your wallet.
In your virtual wallet.
Yeah, but if you lose the password to your wallet, you can never get to your coin ever again.
Yeah, just like your real wallet. You know how like you have to sometimes like enter a digital passcode to open your own wallet. You know,
you don't have the bio DNA wallet.
Yeah,
you need to have like a bio thumbprint to open your wallet. You don't have that.
Yeah, my wallet's pretty old and outdated. It's just the analog wallet.
You don't have that. You don't have that new digital wallet that you just open with your thumb.
I don't hold my money on it other than. But anyway, yeah, that's just funny to me. I just like the idea of like people coming along and saying, "Hey, this is money. You want to buy it with the money you have?" And then people are like, "Yes, I sure do." That if that doesn't show you the state of humanity and like where people are at mentally and everything like that, that these things can even get to the degree that we have real discussions with real people about it. You should laugh in somebody's face whenever they propose something so ridiculous, and yet you look years and decades later, and now it's just like an accepted thing.
I laugh as I go to the bank with my millions of dollars that have not actualized yet. They will one day. They will one day. Son of a bitch. All right. Apparently, Brandon, they want you to be in charge of the show. So for the next 4 minutes. It's the Brandon segment. Canada Spaceman, you're going to love this. Let's come up with some theme music. It's the Brandon segment. Go ahead.
All right. So we started off with Bullet Club versus Finn, Juice, and Saban.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good match. I mean, good way to open the show. The way Saban was talking last week, the way he, of course, that's probably just the way he talks. I was expecting kind of a swerve and a turn on here, especially with the fact that, Motor City Machine Gun, Bullet Club, kind of thought they were going to go with that connection there, but obviously they didn't. But it was still, a good match, spot fest. These guys at least know how to at least make that style work. I like that.
That's good. That's good. The Brandon Corner, ladies and gentlemen.
All right.
Brandon's ready to get onto that Impact Wrestling, so I think that's a sign. That we should start the show. But you know what? All shows.
Card there.
All shows. No, it's okay. It's okay. We need that in our lives. All shows have to start with a little bit of pre-roll.
Welcome to Hami Media Group, or as the cool kids say, HMG. We're here to provide you with the very best entertainment alternative media has to offer. Thank you to all our supporters who have made us what we are today. Follow us on social media, video, and podcast platforms at Hameen Media Group. Become a subscriber to Hameen Media Group at patreon.com for great free daily content as well as off-the-top rope extras. Subscribe to our affiliate Patreon channels with a plethora of fun content on various tiers that will bring tears of joy to your eyes. Vince Russo's The Brand, the Rip Rogers FR Podcast, Stevie Ray TV, Goldilocks, The A Show with Aaron Stevens and April Hunter, The Two-Man Power Trip, Velvet Sky and Angelina Love, The Beautiful People. And now, the Larry Hankin Stories. Support your favorite HMG and independent pro wrestling talent at ProWrestlingTees.com. Enjoy the ultimate meal with Zordo's Ultra Premium Extra Virgin Olive Oil. Head over to ZordosOliveOil.com. Start your day with the best cup of Joe, bro. Try a fantastic selection of flavorful coffee blends at TheBroasters.com. StevieRichardsFitness.com. Get off that couch and make a healthy change without leaving your home. Amazing resistance band and yoga workout programs at an affordable price that will help you become a band new you. Hear from the pros who live the biz, bro, with talent that have worked for every major organization led by the man who put the attitude back in pro wrestling and in your ear holes. It's gotta be russosbrand.com, bro. Again, we'd like to thank you for joining us here at HMG. And now it's time to be entertained.
Are you not entertained?
I mean, I know that pre-roll didn't take into account that we have to talk about Impact Wrestling, but I mean, we'll do our best for
Yes,
sure.
That is true. That is true.
And Brandon kicked us off, with a little review of the opening match and everything. And I guess I'll field the
take
kick
it from there.
I'll field the kick and I'll bring it out to about the 25, before I get tackled. And I should have just kneeled down in the end zone. But anyway, for first thing I noticed, Josh Matthews is back. Not into that.
Hey, he's your favorite. Come on, what are you talking about?
He's not even my favorite guy named Josh Matthews. And I don't know any other Josh Matthews, but whoever else is out there in the world, they're my favorite before him. This was, so we got Bullet Club, versus Sabe Fin Juice. This is a 6-man. So we get a little El Phantasmo here, which I was excited to see. But it is a 6-man, so obviously his workload is cut into third. They also had an insert of the Good Brothers here, like a picture-in-picture insert. Oh, they were watching from like a La Quinta Inn or something. Like, what the hell was that? Where were they that they were watching this match from?
Extended stay.
Extended stay? Yeah, okay. I've been there. Nice little setup they got. Little cable TV. But this was actually, Brandon's right. This was a good 6-man. Because what made it good? Because you hear Ben talk about, anybody that listens to HMG shows has heard Hameen say shitty 6 every single show that he's ever been on, and he talks about it incessantly. Well, it doesn't always have to be shitty. It can be, but it doesn't have to be. And what they did here, the reason why it wasn't shitty is because they were heavy on the teamwork and the tags, and they weren't having like mini singles matches. But what do you expect when you got guys of this caliber in there? You know what I mean? That was like they I don't know if they got the best use of Hikuleo out of this, but it was good enough. Bullet Club cheated, and Saban got punched in the scrotum and pinned, and so I couldn't ask for more. It was everything I love about this situation here.
Straight up dick punch.
Right? Dick punch. El Phantasmo, once again, thank you. That's one of his great signature moves is the punch to the dick. And it's always
very
a
Johnny
good time.
Cage-like.
No, it's not. Because Johnny Cage does the Jean-Claude Van Damme sort of splits punch.
Still punches him in the nut.
And Phantasmo can't be bothered with all that. He just walks right up and throws a right cross into your penis.
So which good brother is taking the right cross to the cock?
Ooh, well, there's
Anderson.
one. Yeah, well, which one of them calls himself Dangly?
That's Gallows.
It's anybody's guess. I think
Gallows
at this
taking
point.
it in the old dangly. Is that what you're trying to say?
I'm saying it's possible.
Well,
I'm saying you got your pick. You got
know
the
what
guy
else?
like Carl Anderson that's susceptible to doing jobs, and then you've got the guy that calls himself Dangly. So it's a toss-up. That's what keeps it exciting. We don't know. We have to tune in to find out who's going to get punched in the dick.
So log this for next week. Vet over under 3.25 chin locks in the match next week. Over under.
Well, since I've been on the Impact Attack, the Good Brothers have been behaving, so I'm going to say under. I'm going to say they're going to keep listening.
Brandon, you're a betting man. Over under chin locks in the Good Brothers versus the Bullet Club match.
We'll say under.
Under 3.25. All right. Mark that, guys, in the chat. They both are taking the under on the on 3.25 chin locks. So how would you grade a quarter of a chin lock?
I think it would be like a side headlock that they didn't quite go all the way to the ground with. when guys grab a headlock just to get shot off to the ropes? Like there's no headlock to it. The guy just grabs him around the waist, and the guy just grabs a headlock, and they start doing the spot. I think that's probably like a quarter chin lock.
Quarter chin lock. Well, Gia Miller wants to chin lock Josh Alexander.
Hey,
Talk about the dynamic between he and Christian Cage. Christian Cage has been in this game a long time. Josh is the wild card. Wild card. He's got another thing coming. He's going to take care of Fulton and Ace, and Christian will get a front row seat as his tag partner. Did that do anything for you guys in the chat? Did that make y'all want to see that again? No,
it sounded way more exciting than what they did.
What it was actually there. All right, well, this is
I'm
what
gonna-
we've all been waiting for. I'm back, guys. I got my kids back. Heath Slater's back in the impact zone. I got my kids, guys.
Homie got big.
Homie did get big. Yes, sir. That is a correct statement.
Yeah,
Homie got big.
So what I like about this, which you kind of didn't really mention, is the announcement of this guy.
Welcome back.
As this, like, I don't think that the whole, in the great pantheon of single name, like Cher and Prince, I don't really feel that Heath fits into that. It's not like, that's not a name you can use as a one name thing. And it sounds really funny when the announcer says Heath. It just does not land with any sort of authority or anything. It just makes you want to laugh because they're not allowed to use any popular last names that other people might know him by, or that might have been said on this show itself by our great co-host several times. But yeah, he wants Rhino, but what he gets is Violent by Design and Eric repeating himself
with a staff.
What I noticed was Eric repeating himself. Have you noticed how often Eric Young comes out and says the exact same thing multiple times?
What do you mean about the infection? I just know about the
Sickness.
infection. We're all infected.
And
Yeah.
purity.
Yeah,
I'm infected.
you're infected.
There's a disease. You
Yeah.
have it too.
We all
He's
have
going to
it.
cleanse you. Rhino has
Hope
it
so.
really bad right now.
Right.
I'm the
Right.
chosen one. Choke on that slap nuts.
King of the Mountain. That was
Oh,
our impromptu
man.
Jeff Jarrett. What grade do you give my Jeff Jarrett? That's JEFF. Ha ha. JARR. Ha ha ha. ETT.
All right,
That's
guys,
double J, Jeff Jarrett.
One's in the chat if you enjoyed the Vet's Jeff Jarrett impression. Two's in the chat if he needs to go work on it. Hit us up. Hit us up.
Keep in mind that is spontaneous and unpracticed.
Hit us up, Slapnuts. In the chat. Ones. Canada Spaceman's got the one. Sonic with the needs work. So that's a 2. I'm going to grade that as a 2. So you're 50-50 here, Vet, on the on the work there. But you know who's not 50-50? Willie Mack. Great. I appreciate y'all feeding me on these. Like I'm throwing you some softballs. He's got an X Division title match next week. And we've got Zicky Dice and Manny Lemons. They're talking that trash. And you know what that leads to? Leads to a tag team match, playa. We got Rich Swann and Willie Mack versus Manny Lemons and Zicky Dice. Do you think they're going to come out with Brian Myers?
Well, I know
I
they
hope
won't
so.
because he said he's not coming out with them.
Not coming out with them.
He refused. He flatly refused to go out there with them, and they were begging him, please.
They should have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we got our next match of the evening. Kimberly, Brandy Loren, and Lady Frost versus Tasha Steelz, Mercedes Martinez, and Savannah Evans. All right, look. I, for one, didn't watch this match. Reading this, knowing the storylines that they've had going on in Impact Wrestling, why is Kimberly and Brandy Loren wrestling in their normal characters, from what I assume?
No.
No, they're in their dead bride.
Mm-hmm. Insane Kabuki posse here. But the note I did have was
even need to talk about this match.
a little bit. The note I had is the first note I had is random with an exclamation point after it.
Exactly. Like I get look, and I'm not trying to shit on it, but like it's It's not because it's a women's match. I love Mercedes Martinez. I love Tasha Steelz. Lady Frost has been really good in the NWA. But the storyline that they're telling, unless somebody is getting their soul taken, or Su Young's going to come out and cause havoc or some craziness, then why are these two girls even
What's
in
the
a
point?
team, even paired up with anything that's going on right now with these other 4 women?
Right.
Well,
basically,
Where did Lady Frost even come from?
yeah, it's a random cold thrown together match with no rhyme or reason.
Yeah.
Come on,
well,
Scott D'Amore. You're better than this.
He's not better than this, but I will say that the reason that it happened, now I know, is because these women were all going to be featured on Knockouts Knockdown, so they just wanted like a last ditch effort to just throw them out there in front. Like Lady Frost had no business in any of this, but she's in the single elimination tournament that they had, so that's why she's in there. It's just like, hey, here's a Lady Frost. You may remember her from things. And then, but why is she teams with those people? It makes no sense. They don't make an effort to explain.
She's not
that.
Troy McClure, okay?
Yes. You may remember her from such wrestling pay-per-views as NWA Empower. Yeah, and yeah, then you get the Steels and Evans, which makes sense, but then a Mercedes Martinez out of nowhere, which again, she's part of the Knockouts Knockdown. So they're just tacking things on just to
Though I do think Mercedes could fit in with the Tasha Steele, Savannah Evans thing. That
Right,
would work
yeah.
really well. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. And when I talk about Knockouts Knockdown later, it'll all make a little bit more sense. However, regardless of how it ended up making sense, this match did not, like the way they made it didn't need to be. You could have just featured like small little personality profiles on the girls if you wanted to, get their faces on there before the pay-per-view. You didn't have to have a 6-person, but they had a 6-person. I will say this was what I have written down for the match, and then Brandon, I'll toss it to you. With this gimmick, the bride's gimmick, Kimber has an excuse to be slow and sloppy and gross. It actually fits, the character. So it could be the best thing that ever happened to her. And this is a note for Tasha, who we've always been a fan of here. But I gotta point out like little things that I see. Now this is just a personal thing, so if you don't like it, don't take it. But I think that kind of like tucking that flag in your tights is jabroni-ish. Like, we get it, you're Puerto Rican. It's on all your gear, but you don't also need like a little handkerchief sticking out of your trunks to show us that you're further a Puerto Rican. We
Get your
understand.
shit together.
I mean, yeah, and in so many words, yes. But the important thing that I had to notice after this is, like, after this match, Alicia comes in and attacks the IKP, and what happens? Security runs out and stops a woman. Hit it.
What happened again?
Security runs out.
Guards! More guards!
Yes, for a tiny lady with a kendo stick beating up like 2 or 3 other women. They send a fleet of security guards.
Guards! More guards!
To actually stop her. Now, why is this a big deal, guys? Because what happened last week, Brandon? The
Nothing.
security didn't do anything about.
She was going nuts with the kendo stick again.
Well, not really. They were going nuts on her husband,
Yeah.
and trying to cripple him and end his career, and she had to watch. But that there was no security to be seen then. But if she comes out with one kendo stick and is severely outnumbered and starts whacking people, that's when you need to empty the locker room and stop this this juggernaut Alicia. She's
More guards!
yes.
Not enough guards for Scott
kept-
D'Amore in the back. There's not
They
enough.
kept kept sending them. They kept sending them out. Like, it just kept coming
man.
out. So
It's
yeah,
like putties.
yeah. I don't know. This was this is weird. But that's basically what happened here. This was just sort of, it was a poorly done excuse to like lead into Knockouts Knockdown with some of these principles in this. So yeah, that's what
Then
I
you
saw.
shouldn't have said it.
I don't know if Brandon saw anything different, but that's basically what I saw.
I mean, yeah, I've pretty much felt the same way. Just kind of a thrown together thing to kind of get faces on the screen before the pay per view coming up. I thought there was one spot in there that looked kind of awkward where Lady Frost kind of found herself in the opposite corner and people kind of didn't know what to do. That looked kind of awkward because it's like you're not really supposed to be there. And if you find yourself in that spot, then the people should be kind of grabbing at you.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of just kind of stood there and let her go, which was looked kind of awkward.
Yeah. Well, Lady Frost in awkward spots is going to be a recurring theme throughout her career if she doesn't tighten some shit up, because she's clearly put more effort into her presentation than into the actual fundamental work that she needs to do, which again we'll talk about a little bit later. But and that's not I'm not trying to make a knock on Lady Frost. What I'm doing is offering my my viewpoint on what I'm seeing and in ways which she can improve, because the presentation part she's definitely got down. I also think that saying that having yourself announced as from someplace cold is also jabroni-ish, like a flag in your tights, but that can, I'm willing to overlook that because she definitely has a unique look. She's like a Masters of the Universe character. It's like a toy I would have had in 1987 or something. But that works because we don't have a million of those in wrestling. Yeah.
Well, we have one less Swingerella, and Alicia is backstage, very upset that Kimberly tried to take Swingerella number 3. Gil Kim comes in. We're apparently going to get a Monsters Ball in honor of the late Daphne, and Alicia is totally game for that. Getting the old Monsters Ball, bringing in Billy Bob Thornton and Halle Berry, and who is the 4th member in that Monsters Ball there? So we've got Alicia. I guess it's Kimberly, right? Oh, that's gonna be.
She's in it.
That's oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
okay. Well,
what I liked about this part was just the fact that after, Alicia is carted off by, go ahead, hit the, Alicia's carted off by.
oh, sorry, I was not.
Alicia is carted off by,
More guards!
and then when they come back from break, that's where the, when they come back from break, that's where the,
the
Guards! More guards!
are still kind of holding her back while she's yelling at the camera. So what I like about this is just the continuity of we went to break with one thing and we came back with the same thing. Like I like that. A lot of times in wrestling, stuff just happens and then there's no follow-up. I'm looking at, you already played the Tony Khan drops, but I'm looking at AEW. A lot of times they'll have something that it seems like it should be a big deal and then they just move on from it. Like, like Jerry Lawler always says, you can't grieve forever. Yeah, I like that they followed that up, but I also will say that another thing that's jabroni-ish is naming your own weapons, which,
Kenny, bro,
yeah,
Janet.
and Mitch, and
Jabroni-ish.
Sacco,
jabroni-ish.
and the hammer that Triple H used to carry around.
Well,
I don't think he never named
He
that,
never named it.
and he was in main events at WrestleManias.
So
And Mick Foley, Asako was used as a weapon, but the hand was really the weapon, and Sako was the man that lived on the hand, right? So it's a little different.
And plus, Sako was like not supposed to be a thing. It was basically just something he threw together the night of the whole thing of those hospital segments, and it just got over, and they ran with it.
Yeah. Yeah, but if you just draw a smiley face and magic marker on a kendo stick and call it Kenny, you're a jabroni. And
what about
you belong in Impact?
What about Saturn and the mop?
He thought it was real because he was mentally handicapped.
And
He thought Maki
chair
was a real
shots,
person.
CTE, it's real. Those guys back in that day were definitely yeah. Dad, I'm sorry
saying.
I failed you today. I am not perfect. I'm
from Earth.
that's
Yeah. Well, you made up for it with that right there.
all right, ladies and gentlemen. Vet's favorite segment of the evening, All About Me. Vet, take it away.
So this was an All About Me episode with the special guest host was actually Decay, just the women. And Rosemary literally steals the show on this one, because not only does she sort of take over and actually do the host job, but the actual person is very entertaining in doing it, really leaning into her character, the segment, the idea of the segment, and what it was supposed to accomplish in setting up the, which ends up being the main event of Knockouts Knockdown, is the tag team match between Decay and the Influence for the tag team championship. So I really liked, even though I don't like when Decay teleports into things or, you know, all that other stuff, but as a performer delivering the lines, which is very important, and being in her character, I really thought Rosemary did a good job here. So even though this is an example of how I can be fair, because if it's a thing that I would have scrapped off the page, I would have ripped the script up at 2 p.m. or whatever it is, and thrown it in the garbage and said, come up with something else. But once they perform it, I'm giving credit to Rosemary and everyone else involved. And because I have to give it up. I am fair. I'm the fairest man on earth, and I can do no less.
No, you're not Dr. Chabelo Veracruz. He's the most unbiased man in professional wrestling.
No, I'm more unbiased.
No,
he was until I
arrived. He is the most effervescent, most magnanimous, most unbiased in all of professional wrestling.
I don't know if effervescent is a synonym with those other things, but I will
with Chabelo Veracruz. It is, sir. Okay.
I'll give him effervescent.
I will. He is magnanimous. He is the scholarly.
I'll give him scholarly.
He is the Professor Chabelo Veracruz. You can find him each and every week on the Pro Wrestling Reflection and on the Tubes of You at the PW Hustle YouTube channel.
Thank you very much.
Veracruz.
Thank you very much for that. But Brandon, how did you enjoy this All About Me with
Superstar
Rosemary?
All About Brandon segment, okay? This is the All About Vet segment.
This is part 2. Let him say it.
I'm definitely with you on that with Rosemary. She basically, this segment was dying until she stole it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, Colin, all jokes aside, I think you would have actually agreed. I think Rosemary's really good. They don't let her, I mean, they do let her have the mic sometimes. But she doesn't always come off this good, because she's usually doing, you know, forced character pro wrestling stuff. And this was more, you know how the All About Me stuff is supposedly more casual, conversational. I thought Taylor Wilde did good in her spot too. And y'all know how much I hate her. So, I mean, the guest hosts are like, you know, the past 2 guest hosts have knocked it out of the park.
It was some performers just finding the right environment and the right place for them to let them feel natural and comfortable as themselves and in that character.
Right.
And her character work is top notch. She probably has the best character work that Impact has, besides maybe Crazy Steve and some of the stuff that he does. But she really knows who she is as a character and where it's going. Sue Young's up there too.
But what is that? Like, what is character that? Work is just cocking your head to the side, putting on paint. Not really the same. Crazy Steve seems a little forced at times. Rosemary's probably been doing the gimmick longer than anybody else there has been doing a gimmick. You know what I mean? It's like it's been a while. She's been there, so she's definitely a home teamer, and she's definitely carrying her weight. So I just, you know, I liked it. But this is important in terms of like what we're talking about, where the right performance can save something, and the wrong performance can kill something that could have been good. So we'll get to that in a bit.
Well, Moose and Morrissey making an alliance for the Call Your Shot Gauntlet. They still don't like each other, though.
No, but they're honest about each other up front.
Keeping it transparent.
Yeah, they're honest about it. Moose says, I can look you in the eye and say that I will kick your ass. And Morrissey didn't seem fazed by it. He was like, basically,
he's like, you're not really looking me in the eye. I'm looking down at you.
Yeah, but not too far down, because
Moose is pretty jacked.
Yeah,
Moose was in 2CW over the weekend or last weekend, 2 weekends ago, and he's going to be at another show that Ben Hameen's going to be at up and coming here. Moose hitting the indie circuit pretty hard now that they're having some dates open up here.
Yeah,
that was a heavy sigh. That was a heavy sigh bit.
Did you watch that?
No.
Oh my god! Like I'm not talking about the 4-way that they had on the night one, but in that match he had with what's that guy's name I've never seen before. I don't want to talk too bad about him because this
Oh, I
is
don't know.
this is we're affiliated somewhat, so I'm not gonna trash him. But let's just say there may have been some. Let's say the interesting booking decisions for Moose continue. That's all I'm gonna say.
So from what I've heard, I think somebody in the chat talked about it last week. Is that guy's a long time 2CW guy? So it was kind of like
I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't care. If I was a long time whatever guy, I'd be like, "Oh, you're bringing in Moose. Let me let him go over on me." I mean, it's like your career's done, bro. I'm sorry. You're never going to make it out of there. That's where your ceiling is, and you can't disrespect people that are kind enough to try to get you some eyeballs. Do you think anybody's going to watch? Let me put it this way. I watched the show not only because of Ben Hameen and everybody else, but because Moose was on it. Now, how many more people do you think that's the case for than I mean, I'm sure most of the big 2CW fans were in the audience that night.
yeah.
You don't need to worry about them. So you know, yeah, I just don't. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This is bad. But that's it. I'm going to remain that's as diplomatic as I'm going to get, and we can just move on if we like.
Well, you know what else is bad? This X Division Championship qualifier we've got with Black Taurus, Burt Macklin, and Petey Williams. Burt Macklin going over after Petey hits the Canadian Destroyer on Taurus, and he ultimately hits his finisher for the win. Oh my goodness, Burt Macklin going places, ladies and gentlemen. Soon to be, he's bringing the X Division title back to the office, back to the Parks and Rec office, where he's going to chill at his desk and polish his belt
With Johnny Karate and
Well, alongside polishing shoes.
yeah.
Treat yourself.
Well, before Brandon gives his thoughts, all I have to say is that during this match, at one point, D'Lo on commentary says he says, "I've got a closet full of Impact merchandise," and then he pauses, and then he says, "that I wear all the time," because he realized that he just buried the fact that Impact is giving him stuff and he's just throwing it in a closet and letting it pile up. So that was my takeaway from this 3-way. But Brandon.
Yeah, I got the same thing. It's like, so I guess Impact pays D'Lo in T-shirts, which I guess is an upgrade over the old hot dog and handshake.
His commentary definitely reflects what he's getting paid. Let's put it that way.
That is true. That is true. Now we're backstage. We've got Christian Cage telling Josh Alexander to keep his emotions in check during their tag match. He's confronted by Christopher Daniels. Daniels is here to right the wrongs of his past and grab hold of things he's never held. And he wanted to let him know that he's going to let Cage think about it. So, could they put it back? Could they put the belt back on an AEW star? Just keep it going with AEW, not even go back to Impact like Christopher Daniels takes it next.
We don't want to give it to Moose. Let's give it to an older, shorter, balder guy. That's what we'll do. No, probably not. I don't think so.
No.
It'll probably make Josh Alexander look good, give him a win to kind of start off his reign.
If he even wins it. Seems like they want him to win it, but you never can be sure with these guys.
That is true. That is true. You know what you can't be sure about? Swingers Palace. They're packing up. They're packing up for Bound for Glory.
No, packing up for good. Remember, Scott D'Amore shut this down last week.
They're packing up for Bound for Glory, bro.
No, it's over.
There's Dixie Carter. There's the poster of Dixie Carter. She's gonna come in and save the day. Dixie Carter, you're gonna get another Southern. Hey, Shug.
Have you heard this?
Hey, that's not over church, Stevie. You're not allowed to go to church here. There's an under church. You can go to the Jabroni church over there, Stevie.
Did you ever hear the story of her and Hernandez, which is why it made that scene so funny?
Oh no.
No,
Please
you never
tell
heard
us.
that?
No.
All right, go ahead.
Oh, so apparently, I want to say it was on I think I heard this on Russo's show when he was on there. He told him about how one time Dixie had him over. I think it was at her house to take what she said was promotional pictures in different clothes, those pictures never saw the light of day.
Of course
Like
they did.
he was trying on different outfits, and she was taking pictures. Like, oh yeah, we're using for promotional. You're gonna see these. Never saw them.
Never saw him.
And it was well known she definitely had the hots for him, along with Magnus or Nick Aldis.
Dixie Carter getting with the boys in the back, huh?
Can you blame her? Look at him. Look at Hernandez.
I mean,
come on.
Hey, nan, daddy.
If I was a woman, I wouldn't say no.
Dixie wanted to get them cheeks clapped. That's for sure. She was trying to get them cheeks clapped.
Yeah. Yeah, but anyway, no, they're packing up because it got shut down. They're not going anywhere.
No, they're
not
coming.
moving to Vegas.
How dare you?
It's not me. I didn't do it. Scott D'Amore did it.
No, you make this right, Vet.
Well,
Yeah,
maybe
you
Scott
make
D'Amore
this
did
right.
it because I've been railing on it ever since I've been on here.
That's
But
the problem. It's people
Yeah.
like you that get rid of fun things like Swingers Palace, the Fashion Police.
I didn't get rid of the fashion. I
all
put over
these
the
other
Fashion
great
Police.
things. What about the talk show that the two fat guys that were the Young Bucks guys in NXT, they Ever Rise, they had a fun little segment and then they're gone.
Now they're Daniel Garcia's.
Did this.
No, Daniel Garcia's fat guys in AEW. Who?
Look,
Daniel Garcia.
Even all of Lucha Underground, which was one giant kayfabe story. I blame you for this.
They were gone long
Damn it,
before
Ted.
I got on podcasting.
No, you did this.
I would have saved the Fashion Police. It wasn't my decision.
One's in the chat if it's Vet's fault, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey.
I need one's in the chat. 2 if it's not the Vet's fault. 3's if it's Brandon's fault. Totally Brandon's fault. It's probably the Vet's fault. I'll say so. So one's in the chat, ladies and gentlemen.
Swingers Pals is definitely my fault. I will own up to
All
that.
your fault.
But I'm not going to sit there and take you saying that I got rid of the Fashion Police.
Or blame you for a certain event that happened in 2001.
You take it back. You take that back.
Look,
hey,
see, Canada's
Spaceman.
Spaceman it's on the ones. Yes.
Fucking okay.
It's your
Well,
fault.
but Spaceman, look at this. I bet the Vet will shoot the Iconics before they even debut in Impact. I was a supporter of the Iconics from day one, so that shows what you know about me, pal. Okay, I'm very excited, but way to get ahead of ourselves. Jeez. Anyways, this is what I mentioned before. If you remember, I was saying how this is a prime example of how timing and delivery are everything in comedy, okay? Some of the stuff that they did in this Swingers Palace segment, for a change, was actually funny on paper. Like they had like the joke about Dixie, the Dixie poster with Hernandez, the little King of the Mountain DVD with Jeff Jarrett. Like they threw these things in here and it would have been funny, but because these guys suck so bad at everything, it completely bombed. Everything bombed, and you're only laughing at it because you know the backstory of it. But it wasn't anything they did. Like, I don't know if, like I've said this before, I don't know if Swinger's really this bad at like performing, or if he's doing this is he's trying to be extra bad on purpose. But either way, it's not good. It's not good TV. It's not good ironically, and it's not good if this is him trying. This is really, really bad. But for once, this would have actually been a funny thing that I would have put over if anybody could have pulled off the delivery. Brandon, did you see the same thing or
pretty much the same thing. The material was good, and I knew the backstory, which is why I thought it was funny. But like, if you didn't know what was going on and you watched, you probably would have thought this was pretty stupid.
He would have hated Wrestle House. Wrestle House.
I did hate Wrestle House.
Wrestle House was so great.
Shut up.
It was so great.
Next.
One's in the chat if you enjoyed Wrestle House.
Now Spaceman is accusing me of being part of the He-Man haters club. Forgetting that was Big Ray. Big Ray hated that He-Man,
French.
and then he put over that CG abomination that they put out.
Buckshot Kid. Thank you. He's dropping ones in the chat, but through words, not just ones.
Buckshot Kid always liked Swingers Palace. I have to question Buckshot Kid sometimes.
Buckshot Kid is Johnny Swinger.
And man, if you thought this, bro, let me just say, if unless he's talking about Wrestle House, but I'm just saying if he's talking
Wrestle
about
House was great. He needs a season.
Yeah. I mean, if you think that's great, imagine what it would be like if they had good performances on it. you'd probably die of a heart attack of joy or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, these guys are so bad at comedy every time that they're given an opportunity, and this was just the latest example.
Well, what if they get the Iconics and they do a Wrestle House with the Iconics?
Then they will be the
Put
only funny
Rosemary
people
in there.
that
Put Sue Young in there.
yeah, they will struggle with the timing
Put
of
Tommy Dreamer in there. All you gotta do is have Tommy Dreamer eating a donut over a trash can. That's comedy gold.
they will struggle with the timing of Johnny Swinger's terrible delivery the same way that Colin will struggle with me talking without interrupting me 50 times. That's what will happen if you get real talented comedians like the Iconics, if it happens.
Iconic. I was listening to some CFO $sign at work the other day.
Are they related to Ty Dolla $ign?
You can go on to Apple Music and search CFO $sign if you want to listen to all of their classic WWE hits.
Now, what happened to them? Did they just make entrance themes for nobody now?
I don't know. It's just all WWE entrance themes.
They
You
don't
just
have
start the top one is AJ Styles, followed by Shinsuke Nakamura. Can you guess what the third one is? So you know how they have them in order. So what would you think would be?
What
so
was
I've
the
already
other?
told you. So number one is AJ
Nakamura?
Styles. Number
AJ
two
Styles.
is Nakamura. What do you think the third? Also in the chat, what do you think the third most popular CFO $sign entrance theme from the WWE is?
Probably say Balor.
Locking it in. Balor. What do you think,
that it?
Bet?
Boss?
Which one?
Is it the boss, Sasha?
It is Sasha Banks. Sky's the limit. Sasha Banks. You're correct.
Pre Snoop Dogg
It's on his
interlude.
iTunes right now. Looking it up.
Yeah.
Big question. You two are wrestlers. Do you shave your balls? I mean, Candace Spaceman's asking these questions. Unfortunately, you're wrong. Glorious is number 4, Buckshot Kid.
That was
And then Finn Balor is number 5. So you were close. Top 5.
It was yeah. So as for the question, unrelated to wrestling, sure, but you don't need to shave your balls because you're a wrestler. You do it for that special someone in your life or yourself. If you know, if you can smell yourself in a fully upright position, you might need to shave your balls. That's first of all. And Manscaped may not be a sponsor of ours, but you know, I'll send a shout out their way. They seem to make good products. So that's my answer.
So Sean and Brett were shaving their balls for each other.
Couldn't tell you.
Didn't tell me. Well, we've got Zicky Dice and Manny Lemons versus Willie Mack and Rich Swann. Rich Swann and Willie Mack going over here. Getting a little tongue-tied. Post-match, the Learning Tree attacks Mack and Swann. Learning Tree's out to help their boys. Nobody's getting cut tonight.
I think there's a lot of material that they're leaving on the table with this Learning Tree gimmick. Like, there are stuff like you can do like outside the ring with these guys of just like Brian Myers being like the douchebag vet to these guys, like making them just do like stuff like going buying beer or just some weird
There's still
stuff.
more of your gimmicks, Vet.
It's basically just like young boy in these guys, and then having like his favorites and just like so much that you can do with that.
Yeah, and then they have VSK as the prized young boy who's just they don't even allow him to speak. So if that tells you anything about his promo ability, where you're going to be on these segments where you don't do anything but be a character and they won't let you talk, that's how you know you're bad on the stick. I agree 100%. There's so much stuff that they could be doing with this. But it's already like the gimmick and the sort of thing is already exposing the business, and I don't really like it. But you could creatively dance around that without exposing the business as much. It would be so inside that the wrestlers would think it's funny, or the hardcore wrestling fans would think it's funny, and the casual audience would still kind of think it's funny, but not at the same level. It would only work on a surface level to them. But as it is, it's really not that funny to begin with on the surface level. And the stuff they do say, they just come out and use industry terms on TV. But who can who can really blame them? It's like the announcers say shit like fucking they call Savannah Evans Tasha Steel's heater. Like they say that on commentary. So like why should Brian Myers not expose the business and his gimmick that's about exposing the business? It only makes sense. That's just where we're at now. Yeah.
Brandon,
So,
anything to counter what the vet just said there? They want more Brandon on the show.
makes all the sense in the world. I mean,
You're the star.
yeah, I mean, why? I mean, if you're gonna do business exposing, do it right.
It's true. Do it right. Do it right, damn it.
Get your shit together.
Get your shit together. You know who has their shit together?
Not this next segment. That's for
The
damn
so
sure. But
the
go
oh so
ahead.
beautiful Mickey James,
Mhm.
who attacks Deonna Purrazzo in Impact's meeting room. Now Scott D'Amore's got to make a no touch rule. No touchy. No touchy.
Yeah. He's not. Brandon has no snare in their headphones. You'll turn up my snare.
Turn my headphones up.
Yeah. So,
Who's your top 5 favorite rappers, Brandon?
Dylan, because he spit that hot fire.
Yes, he does.
yeah.
You
I
know who else
also
spits
would
out fire?
also would have
James.
accepted Blizzard Man.
Blizzard Man does spit that hot fire. He also
But
throws change at strippers.
yeah. Yeah. Throw a silver dollar and a lady gets hurt. Yeah, Brandon, go ahead and talk about this foolishness first. I'll come in and clean up whatever's left.
It was all over the place so bad. I mean, like you're making a stipulation like if Deonna touches her, then she loses the title. Well, what if Mickey touches her? What happens to her? Doesn't make any sense. And then just some of the performances was bad. Ray Wall, like they didn't let him do any speaking or anything. He just kind of stood there just to be a prop. Didn't do anything with him. It was just overall bad. D'Amore trying to save it, but it was just ugh.
Well, D'Amore ain't saving anything. He's always making it worse. Because he turns everything into phony pro wrestling. Not only as a kayfabe character, but as a shoot. Everything turns into phony pro wrestling. Like, instead of criminal charges, suspension, stripping of the title, we're in here talking about no contact clause and pick your poison match. Oh, what a punishment for home invasion. Like you get to pick her opponent. Oh, and wait till you see who her opponent is at knockouts and knockdown that she picked. Oh man, you'll never guess. No, literally, you'll never guess who her opponent is. I'm sure Spaceman's about to tell us who her opponent is in the chat, but you'd never guess it. So, anyways, sucks.
I remember when it came out, Rikishi ran over Austin, and Mick Foley was like, "I'll give you a match." And I was like, "Whoopee, a match! What? I want to kill this guy."
Yep, damn right. So, I mean, wrapping up this show, we have
We got the main event here.
Yeah.
With Ace Austin, Madman Fulton versus Josh Alexander and Christian Cage. Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I didn't really watch this. It was on, but I didn't watch it. So, Brandon, if you have any notes or anything you'd like to share, you're the main event now. I've got nothing to add. It's all you, brother. Take it away.
All right. So let's see, for the notes I got, at least for this match and these guys, I would have liked to have seen a lot more of a build throughout this show, because these are good performers. Ace Austin, he gets it. He knows his character. He understands. There's more stuff between him and Fulton. I like this pairing.
He's not Alex Zane.
Exactly. And you can tell, like, Ace Austin gets it. Like, at his age, he's one of those guys who gets the business. He knows how to sell. He knows his character. He puts everything into every aspect of it. Like, his only like major drawback is just how short he is. Like, if he was taller, like a little over 6 foot, definitely at least be over 200 pounds, because he definitely puts the work into at least looking as believable and credible as possible. D'Lo, it sounded like he had no idea what he was talking about when the Fulton submission. It sounded like he might have well said it. It's going across the upper jaw there.
It's true.
And then the German spot was pretty nice, like how Alexander hit the 2 Germans on Fulton, and then eventually Fulton fought out and then got the tag in, and they kind of went to work on him as a double team. I mean, it was a nice match, heightened some of the tension a bit between Cage and Alexander, but I wish that's a little something more to make it more personal, get it over the top. Like maybe Christian Cage starts getting a little scared that Alexander might actually beat him, so that paranoia gets in. He starts maybe stab him in the back or something like that, and that way now it's personal. Now there's like some actual heat there that we can work with instead of just the old one-upsmanship. But I'm better than you. I'm going to show you I'm better than you that we've seen a million times before.
I'll add that your point about Ace Austin being small, I don't know if it's his idea, not being small. I'm sure he had no choice in that, but I don't know if it's his idea or somebody else, but whoever it was had the right idea, because when you put a guy like Fulton with him, he gets even more heat for being small. Like, he looks small, and then it's like, you only won because you had Fulton. The problem is they job Fulton out all the time. Like, they have Fulton take the falls and do stuff like that he shouldn't be doing at his size or his character or whatever. I guess he's not that big of a madman, but the idea is there. The execution is not all there, but the idea is there. If you lean into what you are, like if you end up being short, like don't act like you're not. Don't act like, don't start throwing guys around like Roderick Strong that outweigh you by 100 pounds just to show that you're not that small, like just accept it and work around it and get heat with it. That's basically what it is. Or if you're a baby face, you always get that sympathy or whatever, you don't see Rey Mysterio picking up guys and giving them gorilla presses and shit like that. He knows what he's supposed to do. And you see a guy like Ace Austin, like he doesn't ever seem to, he's muscular, so it looks like he's strong enough to do things, and that's fine, but he's not running around trying to act like with big man syndrome. So I mean, whether you give him the credit at a young age for realizing, hey, I need a heater, or whether it's somebody else there, maybe a D'Amore or a Don Callis or anybody else in the back there that had an idea, like it's a good idea, and he makes the most of it.
So I've been enjoying his performances. He's definitely somebody I'm going to enjoy seeing growing, because for somebody as young as he is, he definitely seems like he gets it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. I enjoy Ace Austin. He's a good heel character, and the stuff that he's doing with Fulton is he's got a promising future, and he's fun to watch, like you said. Well, that's it. That's the main event. That's it, guys.
But now we got a new main event.
Well, no, I've got something for you here, Vet.
Oh shit!
I got something for you. Hang on, let's pull this up.
He's got something for me, guys. Here it comes.
I got something for you.
Guards, more guards,
more guards.
Here it comes, right? Just let it ride. Do what you feel.
Oh shit, we're gonna get struck down for this.
Yo, I'm about to set it. Another #1 hit. Turn on my snare. Yeah. Check my style out. Rap song. We come from the South and our teeth are gold. We drink lots of codeine and sit around. A jam comes on and we all do the crump. Yo.
That's what I'm talking about, my man. Still.
He still got it. My man still got it. Ludacris.
T-Pain.
Replacing T-Pain on the track with Blizzard Man, ladies and gentlemen.
That's great. Yeah, that's a classic. It just shows you the bad state of comedy when that era of SNL can be considered classic comedy now. But that's where we're at. Everything looks better in retrospect. You'll find that as you get older. You take the stuff you used to shit on. Doing raps and going to parties is basically what we're all about. Even T-Pain himself, like, I remember when T-Pain came out and his music, and I'm just like, is this just what music is now?
Because it's all auto-tune. All he was auto-tune.
And now I go back and listen to T-Pain, I'm like, wow, what an artist, what a genius. I didn't know how bad music was gonna get. I thought it had peaked at T-Pain era, and T-Pain wasn't even that bad. That's just how I felt back then.
You've got Little Uzi Vert. Look at what you did. God. Look at what you did, Vet. I blame you. For Little Uzi
I didn't
Vert.
do it.
Put ones in the chat.
I didn't have a public platform to disparage T-Pain back then.
One's in the chat for the way the vet drove hip hop in the direction that it's going. One's in the chat if it that
Well,
you're
let
to
me-
blame for all of
Well,
this.
let me make it up to everyone with a Knockouts Knockdown review for Canada Spaceman
Oh, God, no.
specifically. I'm sure he's
Hang
the-
on, wait. Let's see if this works in real life.
Guards! More guards!
No one's coming. Oh fuck, we're gonna have to deal
yeah,
with a knockouts review. We've
I'm
got a
pretty
lot of
sec-
ones in the chat though. They
pretty
blame
secure
you for the fall of hip hop, and they blame you for Little Uzi Vert. Appreciate that, gentlemen. I
I'll-
love the interaction in the chat.
If it makes you feel better, I will take all of your ones.
The impact
Give
attack.
me
after
your
dark.
ones,
Make it
my
rain-
sons.
Make it
I
rain
take your ones
Bitcoins.
upon myself.
Make it rain bitcoins on on the vet.
Okay. All right. Sorry about hip hop, guys.
All right.
Let me try to make it up to you.
Give us some knockouts, bro. Give us
Okay.
some knockouts.
All
Can I
right.
play Deanna Perrazzo's music under your knockouts review?
No, because I've effectively gotten rid of that. That's one thing you can blame me for. No more music under Gia's interviews.
Fortunately, you're
I can
tonight.
take that claim to fame at least.
Or do you want
All
to
right.
this?
Hashtag
It's your
thank you,
choice.
vet.
Yes.
Hashtag thank you, vet.
You may all thank me now. But
One's in the chat if you thank vet for the state of hip hop. Two's in the
Wait
chat
a
if
minute.
you thank the vet for the state of Impact's knockout.
wait a minute. Well, everybody should be putting both of them then. Come on.
Ones and twos.
all right.
Get the 12s in the chat.
Okay. So, we're going to start this show. They did a nice 10-bell salute for Daphne. And we're going to get, on commentary tonight, we're going to get Veda Scott and Mickey James. I'll say this right up front. Where has Veda Scott been all my life?
She is.
She is incredible on this show, and I already knew she was incredible because I've heard her in Ring of Honor and stuff do commentary before. I know that she's good. My question is why is she better than everybody else who's doing this? With the as far as play-by-play too, because obviously
Yeah, she's
Mickey's
really
there
good.
on the color. But she sounds conversational, but she also calls the action, but she also knows all the storylines and characters, and she's also funny, but not trying to get herself over at the same time. I mean, yeah, I know where she's been, Spaceman. That's not what I meant. What I meant is why aren't people using her more on mainstream stuff? She should have a job with anybody doing play-by-play. Why do we have to listen to Excalibur twice a week? Or whatever, when Veda Scott's available.
Yeah, AEW is so all encompassing, and why do they have three old white men on commentary for their main show? Why don't we get a lady in there?
I'd
How
like to see
about a
that-
lady?
I like to see that dynamic of her and Shivani and JR.
Yes.
Yeah, let's kick old Excalibur out of there. Let's start a movement, guys. Veda Scott for AEW announcer over Excalibur.
Yeah. So, yeah, but okay. So, and Sonic says, imagine an announcer having a personality. No, that will never fly. You're right. But
Right, yeah.
I'm saying she's really good at commentary. I'm not saying she is a wrestler, but she's not trying to be a wrestler doing commentary. She's doing commentary who happens to be a wrestler. She doesn't she doesn't overshadow the product. Sometimes I love Mauro Ranallo. I will never say a bad word about Mauro Ranallo, but you know how sometimes he likes to get his shit in. And I'm fine with it because his shit is usually good. It's usually topical references and they're usually funny. And he's good at segueing those into what he's seeing at the time. So I appreciate that. But some people can complain that he gets a little bit overboard with his references and stuff like that. But she's not doing it. She's doing exactly her job, which is great. I can't encourage anybody to watch this show, but if you'd like to see a certain match or whatever, go back and watch that match and then listen to her commentary during that match and tell me she's not better than every single person in the WWE put together, aside from Pat McAfee, who's got his own job and his own gimmick.
She's better than Beth Phoenix.
Oh my God. Beth Phoenix? Are you? Yeah, the only other woman doing commentary of significance.
Guards! More guards!
How dare you?
Yeah.
Beth Phoenix is bringing the guards.
Yeah. So she's great. She's my favorite thing about this show, which wasn't too bad. It's just too long and more than I was interested in watching at the time. So let's just kick it off. Tourney match 1. Lady Frost versus Rachel Ellering in the first round of this tournament. Okay. Crowd chanted, "This is awesome." Okay, calm down. This is not the match was, to be charitable, this match was all right. And Lady Frost is doing things that are just kind of like above her skill level, which that's typical for somebody that's trying to make a splash and get themselves over in the business starting out. Like, they want to do things to be remembered. She's already come up with this gimmick that everybody can easily remember when they see her. Like, they're not gonna see her once and forget her name. The next time they see her, they'll be, oh yeah, it's Frost something. They're gonna know. So she's got that part of it covered. She's got to work on the rest of the mechanics and stuff like that. And Ellering is solid as usual. She moves on here. Yeah, Frost looks hot. Spaceman's right. I mean, she looks hot. She's in shape, so. And even though her hair's short, I still caught her doing a hairbrush once. So, just throwing that out there. Match 2. Renee Michelle versus Chelsea Green. Oh, Brandon, you want to watch this show. There was some Chelsea Green on this show, man. You just didn't really, you missed it, but I mean, she's there. Renee Michelle, what do I know her from? I was
Bud's wife.
Okay, that is her.
That's Maverick's wife.
Okay, that's okay. I was thinking that,
She
but
could
then
never
I wasn't
consummate
sure.
her marriage because he could never hold on to that 24/7 title.
Right.
Poor guy.
So she's got Michelle has the poise for a wrestler, but her mechanics need work. If she and that's one of the things that just comes with repetition and time. So if she can cram a lot of reps into a short period of time, she's got everything else. The looks, she's got like I said, the poise, which means like just the way she carries herself. She didn't look like she was trying to remember spots or anything like that. She just kind of looked like some of her, actual nuts and bolts mechanics were a little awkward from inexperience. So, I mean, think about it. Who's she out there wrestling? She doesn't have anywhere to get these kind of things. So, and no one wants to get in a ring and like do stuff by themselves or with somebody else with nobody around. We had a whole year of professionals television shows doing that. So nobody's in a hurry to like really put that effort in, I don't think. But if she does, she's got it. Anyways, Chelsea Green wins. So there you go. It was all right, for what it was, I guess. Match 3, Zombie Brandy versus Mercedes Martinez. This was quite short. Couldn't have been 4 minutes. It was very short. It's probably less.
Squash match it should be.
Yeah. But the Mercedes gave her the OG drop off the top rope, and Brandy kind of landed on her arms, like landed with her arms under her. So hopefully nothing broke and everything's okay. It's just an awkward landing. You kind of want to land, when you're taking face bumps, you kind of want to spread the impact. You always want to spread the impact to as much of your body as you can when you're taking a bump. And so you want to kind of get your hands flat to the mat.
That's what she said.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Right. So, but you don't want to land with your whole body like this on your arms and wrists. It's take it from a guy who broke his wrist. You don't want to do it. Not that I did it the way she did it. But weird stuff happens in the ring sometimes. It's a thing. But I hope hopefully she's okay. Match 4, Tasha Steelz versus Jamie Senegal. This was all Tasha. Jamie Senegal is apparently she referred to Daphne as her wrestling mother. Like, I'm gonna do it for my mother, like I guess she took Jamie under her wing, at some point. So this is kind of like her dedication or whatever, but it was all Tasha. Tasha ran over this person, gave her little hope spots here and there, but ultimately Tasha, her comeback was Tasha beating her up, and the finish was Tasha going over. So that's like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those were the first round matches. Then we get Deanna versus the handpicked, pick your poison. Mickey James picked this person. And the person was
Masha Slamovich.
Yes. So clearly this person is a big Glow fan and is doing the gimmick that Allison Brie was doing from Glow. Let me say something. You know, I put over the commentary earlier, and one of the things I did like about this commentary is Mickie James not trying to control her bias about this. So she's talking shit about Deonna the whole time, and Veda is trying to like go along with it. It's one of the most masterful commentary performances I've seen in recent years. I can't think of like a better just example of cut this out. So if you want to go back and watch one match, this was probably the best match on the show, probably. And the commentary was great character work while still not taking away from the match, but actually adding to the match. Just phenomenal. Excellent. Veda Scott, once again, 9 thumbs up. The one thing I will say though is when you have to say, when you're trying to put over that somebody's well-traveled and you say they've been to Japan and you don't name any promotions, that's a red flag. You can't just say
New Japan is the only promotion. Duh.
Yeah, you can't. Even if you were going to a jabroni promotion, or even like one of the promotions that's fallen from grace, like All Japan or Noah, like you would say that. They would definitely say if she was in All Japan or Noah. But yeah.
Dragon's Gate.
But this, like I said, the match was fine. Masha taps to the Venus de Milo, which is 2 arms trapped in an armbar. So that's looked very painful, and it was. But she tried her ass off. Damn it, she tried. Any of you guys familiar with Masha Slamovich? Seen her anywhere? Guys, fans of Glow? Did you watch Glow on Netflix?
One's in the chat if you're familiar with Masha Slamovich. Two,
we're gonna get a 1 from Spaceman, I'm sure. Sure, we're gonna get a 1 from Spaceman. So no Glow, guys? No, you don't like Glow?
Never saw it.
I like Community. That's the only thing I really like with Allison Brie in it.
Yeah, well, she's just for all you
with the 3.
Yeah, for all you guys that are that type of guys. Look, Allison Brie's totally naked in Glow, so check it out. First episode, you don't even have to like binge it to get to the naked. All right, no, Glow's great. It's the best show ever about professional wrestling. Sorry, heels, not quite cutting it. But if you want to see the actual,
where's the heels hate coming from? Damn.
Just saying it. I'm just saying Glow is the best show about pro wrestling ever done. It's the best version of wrestling that's not wrestling that they've ever done. Anyway,
well, you already know Canada Spaceman knows about the naked.
I knew he knew about
it. And Sonic will now watch.
Yeah. Yes.
And of course, Canada Spaceman loves heels.
Great show, man. Glow's so good. I wish it could have got that final season, but I don't know.
COVID, bro. COVID.
Yeah, well, a lot of things had that.
Another death. Another COVID death.
Well, they had to postpone it, and then they were just like, we're not doing it. It's like, all right. It must have been just like real wrestling, politics infected that production. So round 2. Mercedes Martinez versus Rachel Ellering. As you'd expect from these two, Rachel taps. Chelsea does a short promo with Gia and no music underneath. Nice. Then we get Chelsea Green versus Tasha Steelz. Surprisingly, this was not as good as I hoped or expected. I talked about trying things above their experience level, and I get it. But here, this was definitely like they wanted to have a big match, and I don't think they were prepared for some of the things that they did. Did not come off well, especially the finish where Tasha essentially, I will try to describe this so that you guys can understand it. Chelsea throws herself off the top rope, okay, and then Tasha falls on her. Now, what I mean by that is it was supposed to be like Chelsea was going for an unprettier off the top and then got tossed down and fell and took a back bump, and then Tasha was supposed to come off with the frog splash, but instead, it looks like she just jumps off, takes a back bump off the top, and then Tasha just like does a very Snoop Dogg-esque frog splash off the top and gets the win. It's not great. Look at this shit. Colin, does the vet talk too much? Look at Spaceman. Like, I'm doing this whole review purely for the entertainment of Spaceman, and he thinks I talk too much. For your information, these two fuckers didn't watch the show. All right? He triggered me again. He got me.
I just left
Someone
a
grateful.
comment. I just left a comment in the chat.
Yeah.
There you go, Vet.
I just guys, I just want you to know I'm sorry about all my appearances on these shows. People keep not thinking that they need to do a podcast, and then they call me and say, "Can you do it?" And I say, "Yeah, sure." At the risk of things like this, the ingratitude. Just kidding. I know you're all
We
grateful.
still love you, Vet.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it. Even though I killed hip hop.
Thanks, man.
Mercedes
Appreciate
in
you.
the wood
Yes, you
room.
did kill hip hop. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Mercedes is in the wood room with Gia, no music underneath, but no one teleports in, so that's good. She calls herself a legend and a badass. I think you kind of leave those adjectives for other people to call you, but she did it. Then we get my favorite part of the show. Christy Hemme comes out. That's not necessarily my favorite part, although I have no complaints. Oh, come on. All right, fine. He's going with it, guys. If you're listening to the podcast version, Colin just changed his StreamYard screen name to Vet Killed Hip Hop.
From Southmost Airlines.
Southmost Airlines. Yes. All right, look, Sonic's got my back. So, yeah. Again, nothing wrong with Christy Hemme, but
Nothing wrong.
Nothing wrong with it. More so, I was putting over the fact that she's here to induct Awesome Kong into the Impact Hall of Fame, or she's here to announce the induction. I think the induction will happen at Bound for Glory probably, but this is sort of like they bring Kong out, and she gives like a little, she talks for a little bit. I don't want to say it's a promo because she didn't cut a promo. She didn't like endorse anything, but she just kind of like. She had a good message for everybody, which was really great. I sincerely mean this. She said, paraphrasing it, she's saying for all the people out there, like, open up the door for the next person up. If you're in that position, help the next generation or the next person come through. It's not always easy to do it on your own because people always put obstacles in your way, close doors in your face. Like they're not as interested in you doing big things. Nobody in the world is as interested in you doing big things as you are. So you got to be the one to do it. That's my own personal spin. She didn't say that, but that's her sentiments. And so it was really cool to just see her come out and get the adulation of the people in attendance, and she's definitely deserves to be recognized. Awesome Kong's one of the best things that ever happened to that company. She was a great performer. Obviously everyone knows the matches with Gail Kim, probably some of the best. If you're just talking about matches, and even if you're not, maybe if you're talking about whole angles or whatever, that's the best women's matches that there's probably ever been. If it's not those, it's something with Sasha and Bailey, but it's probably Awesome Kong and Gail Kim are the best women's matches ever. You can throw all that Trish and Lita stuff in the garbage. No disrespect to them. I'm just saying, like, in comparison, it's just not close. These two are great. Kong had a lot to do with that. She just had a character that we had not really seen before, and she played it up, especially when you see what she's really like. And she's also on Glow, and she's also great. So if you need another reason to watch it, watch her character on that. Just excellent. But it turns out she's a very beautiful human being too. So we get to see a little bit of the real Kia Stevens here, accepting on behalf of her character Awesome Kong to go in the Hall of Fame. This was great.
She had some great matches with Mischief too.
Yeah. I mean, just everything. I loved Awesome. Every time she was on, she was my favorite thing. Basically, it was her, the beautiful people, and Curry Man were my favorite TNA things. So anytime something involving those guys, or ladies, or whatever, or foods. Yeah. So next up, Taylor Wilde pays tribute to Daphne with a little package, a little remembrance package that she's kind of narrating and telling a story on. Very nice. So that was nice. Then we go from that into Monsters Ball, which, that's one of the things that Kong was saying, that she's the first woman, Daphne was, to appear in a Monsters Ball match. And Taylor tells the story about that in that little prefacing package. So now we get this Monsters Ball, which, well, it was a. Didn't I just say last week that I'm tired of 4-ways and hardcore matches? So here we go. Let's get it all. This was Kimberly was early on in this. It didn't go too long, thankfully, but Kimberly was bleeding like a stuck Kimberly. And then she actually got stuck when Jordan Grace muscle busted her into some thumbtacks. So there you go. That's nice. But Savannah avoids most of the foolishness, and she used the old chalk bucket and beats Lish with her finish. So Savannah Evans goes over relatively thumbtack free, I think. She might have got 1 or 2 in the shoes or maybe in the elbows or knees or something, but she kind of avoided the thumbtacks. And most of the rest of this, it was like Savannah just powdered and stayed away from all the dumb shit and then just came in to get the win. So smart worker, Savannah Evans, boy, getting over with me, let me tell you. So let's see. Gia is with Tasha and no music underneath. Okay, I want to tell you guys a little fourth wall stuff. It's not that I'm trying to protect it, but just so you know, like,
Wait, do I need to bring the guards out for the fourth wall?
No, it's okay.
Does the fourth wall need guards?
Well, you can call them if you want, just for fun.
Okay,
But
just for fun, we'll call the guards. Here, guard,
Guards! More guards!
for the fourth wall. Protect it.
yeah, So the so my predictive text, right?
Put one's in the chat for all the mad props that the vet gets for watching this pay-per-view.
When I met,
He probably.
Thank-
I'm sorry, vet. Then he probably cleansed
Thank-
his palate with some New Japan.
I definitely did. And there's some G1 matches going on probably as we speak that I can't wait to get to.
Climaxing for you guys all month
Guys.
is the vet. This guy right here has been climaxing for you all month. Imagine that. He's got more endurance than Sting. And I'm not talking about Sting the wrestler. I'm
He's
talking
talking
about
about Sting, the
Sting the
tantric
singer.
sex performer.
tantric sex performer.
Not Sting the musician.
Not Sting the musician.
I mean, it's the same guy, but I'm trying to make up for killing hip hop. All right. So my predictive text is I will type every time there's an interview segment, I will type the talent's name and then I will type a W in my notes. And after the W, my phone knows to put Gia. And then the next predictive text is and then the next predictive text is it was music, but now it's no. And then it's music. Then it's underneath. But do you know what so I only have to hit my predictive text to get, blank blank with Gia and no music underneath. But do you know what the next thing that my predictive text says after no music underneath?
That'd be Moose.
I wish, but no.
What
Brandon
is it?
hazard
The
a guess?
suspense is killing us.
Okay. Interrupted. The word interrupted, because in these segments, someone always walks in, right? So it makes sense. But my phone knows that by now. That's how many times I've typed out that Gio was doing an interview and someone interrupted it, that my predictive text is on that level. The Omen soundtrack. That's Moose, who used the Omen soundtrack. So what do we got here? Yes, Gia with Tasha and no music underneath. Tasha calls Evans her heater in her promo. So again, we're calling people heaters on TV, which, dude, Brandon, if you go to somebody and stop them at the grocery store or whatever and be like, hey, do you have a heater? Like, they're going to, what do you think they're going to think you're talking about?
Probably something and like, what, the thing that heats up my house?
Yes, exactly. A space
Or a
heater?
gun.
A Canada space heater?
A gun. You've got diesel, some wrestling market, the 7-Eleven. You got a diesel with you? What?
Yeah. Her also does this motion. Diesel did. So other than that, this was a nice fired up promo from Tasha. So we love Tasha. I did say her flag was a little jabroni-ish, and she was, yes, wearing it in her matches here, but whatever. Nonetheless,
Good morning,
finals.
nobody worth remembering. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. People coming in the
yes.
chat.
Very, very happy to see nobody here. I know
Sorry
how that
to
sounds
interrupt.
if you're listening to the
Sorry to
podcast
interrupt.
version. It's okay. If you're interrupting me for nobody, it's okay. Again, that sounds weird on the podcast. Yeah. So this was the finals match. This was for the all the marbles here. Tasha versus Mercedes. Not terribly exciting, I'm gonna be honest. It was just kind of like you have two, in essence, heels. I guess Mercedes would have been the default babyface, but not really acting like it. And Tasha's clearly a heel, but she didn't really cheat, and she didn't have Savannah out there with all of her other matches. It's not only because Savannah was in a different match, but just because, I guess she was trying to win it the honest way. So they're both acting like heels, but not really. And the fans had to just kind of pick their favorites. Anyways, Mercedes wins it with the OG drop. There's not much to say about the body of the match. Nothing like egregious mistakes. Nothing like particularly praiseworthy. They just got through it, but the psychology and the story wasn't really there. So Mercedes gets a trophy from Gail Kim, and everyone's happy. Then they do. It's important to mention this. They do a spot for Tag Me In. Colin, I don't know if are April and Aaron involved with the Tag Me In thing?
I don't know. I have to talk to them about that and see.
I'm sure they are, or they would be, because it has to do with the NAMI organization. And they gave some they gave some contact info, which I forgot to or I was trying to get it down, but it was off the screen too fast, and I didn't want to rewind for reasons I won't bore you with. But anyways, yeah. So the Tag Me In thing is that they had like a bunch of wrestlers doing this whole spot. Nick Aldis, Mick Foley,
Is
Chris
there
Jericho.
a hot tag? I think that's really all I'm interested in. I need to know. Is there a hot tag?
Well, I'll tell you what it is. What it is use the hashtag Tag Me In on your socials, and you create a video talking about your mental health, and it's for mental health awareness is the thing. So it's just like a social media campaign to kind of bring awareness to all these issues and stuff. That it's wrestling focused. I don't think you necessarily have to be a wrestler to do it, but they're basically saying there's always somebody out there. You're not alone. So I assume you can be a wrestling fan and make your short video and use the hashtag Tag Me In to be a part of this. So for those of you out there who kind of feel like, things are not going the best, this is another avenue where you've got people that are sort of in your corner, so to speak. Pun definitely intended. So use the hashtag Tag Me In for any of that stuff. And then I'm sure the information is available on the NAMI's website. I don't know if that's a .org. Is it?
I think it is. I think NAMI. I'll look it up real quick.
Yeah, go ahead and look that up, please. And then we can kind of throw that in at the end. And then, which is almost here, because the main event is the Knockouts Tag Team titles.
Yes, it is NAMI.org. Yes.
Okay. So, DK versus Influence. This is the match, I guess, that had the most build on the main TV show to build up to this main event. And it was a match. DK retains. They remain the champs. It was nice. Again, no real complaints about it, but I also don't have anything I can point out to tell you guys, hey, you got to go back and watch this Knockouts Tag title match, boy. You missed a motherfucker of a match. I can't tell you that in all honesty, but I'm sure Veda Scott's commentary will definitely carry it through, right? So that was our show. And then at the very end, I was about to, turn it off a little prematurely because they had I think they showed the Impact logo, but either right before or right after they showed a tease for the Inspiration. It just says the Inspiration is coming to Impact Wrestling, but the Inspiration, there are two eyes in Inspiration. So, I see what we're doing here. We're getting ready. We're going to see them. So yes, the Iconics that Spaceman mentioned that he just assumed I would shit on, even though I'm big fans of theirs and have been since day one, even when Russo and Ben Hameen and Stevie Richards were burying them, and then they got late to the party and changed their tune, even though I already knew they were good from the start. Yes, that Iconics will be coming to Impact. Impact definitely can use them. They deserve so much better as in terms of a platform. Like being seen by 100,000 people, they should be seen by 100 billion people. Way more than the population of Earth. Yeah, that was your Knockouts and Knockdown review. One man show here. Sorry, guys, I didn't mean to. I tried to include you where I saw fit. But yeah, that was it. And
As the name says here,
yeah,
you not only killed hip hop today, but you killed that knockdown.
Killed it, bro. MDK, man,
knockers.
all day, man. I killed this review,
MDK.
man. I
Murder
killed it,
Pizza.
man. Yeah. Yeah. So and as Colin is putting in the chat, he's got the website.
So specifically,
They had a phone number too, which I didn't get.
If you want to donate to the one specifically for like Daphne or towards Daphne, I know what Mick Foley is basically doing because we had him on the A show. He is taking the shirt off his back, selling it at his shows, and basically directly donating that money that he makes from selling the shirt to NAMI Georgia. After we had him on the show, he was basically going to go and cut the check for NAMI Georgia, like when he was getting off with us and everything. And he like puts it in like Daphne's mom's name. So like Daphne's mom's like fundraiser gets the credit for it kind of thing. But it all like NAMI Georgia, the one that I put it in is the link that I put in the chat is the one that would be more that Daphne was working with and that she, was I think donated things to and just really was big a part of that NAMI Georgia stuff with that. So that's where you should probably, if you want to donate for the cause of Daphne and everything, do the I think it's a NAMI NAMIGA.org. You can go to /donate_now to donate.
And that was the Mick Foley was doing the shirt off your back thing. That's what it was called.
Auction.
I think.
Yeah, the hashtag shirt off your back. What was it was the tag team. What's the one that they were pushing that you asked me about for Aaron and April on the knockdowns thing?
Oh, just tag me in.
Tag me in, and yeah, the tag me in. Well, I'll ask them about that.
That's a NAMI thing because they had NAMI stuff all over it, but that's just what the campaign is, and that's the hashtag tag me in.
Gotcha. Okay, hashtag tag me in. Oh, anything else this evening, gentlemen?
I think I've said enough. So if you guys have anything,
well,
go
you
for
plug your socials.
Oh, I'm on every show on Hami Media Group, and I'm at Opinion Ever everywhere.
That is true. Brandon, that's your cue, sir.
Oh. You can catch me at everywhere currently as at Miss Tia the Transarchist everywhere. It's going to be changing to what I have not decided yet. Once I get that done, once I get the new promotional material made, that'll switch over. Will happen once again. It's just a matter of getting everything I need together for that and just getting it done. It should happen hopefully before the end of the month.
All right, guys, you heard it there. Follow him at What I Have Not Decided Yet on Twitter and all social media to get all the what's happenings from Brendan there. What was that again? At What I Have Not Decided Yet .org if you want to donate. I would just make it up, whatever. You should go buy that domain name and just hang on to it. Look at that. Look, everybody's putting you over in the chat tonight, Brandon. You are going to take over this show one day and lead it to success. You're going to lead Impact and Impact Wrestling and the Impact Attack to places Impact has never been before. So
we can be free.
Over millions of viewers, millions and millions of viewers. Wait, hang on. I have a drop for that.
Millions.
And I somehow managed to hit Ben Hameen saying,
What did you just say to me?
Yes. Yes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you can find me each and every week here on the Impact Attack with Brandon and the Vet. You can find me on Twitter at Colin Weissong. You can find me on Facebook at Colin Weissong. You can find me on Instagram at Colin Weissong. You can't find me this week at the A Show, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because it is going to be a rerun. Both of the performers are out of town, and so they're doing their thing. I lobe you to Spaceman. Vet Sonic calling me out for typing. Vet does not even know how to type.
If you saw a Spaceman's comment, you'd get it.
Yeah, that's okay. I am too busy trying to cut a promo here with you distracting the class.
Sorry to interrupt.
My kid is crying in the background. Let me I just you know what'll really help this out?
More guards.
Yeah, definitely more guards. Always more guards.
The honest theme music.
I need to have a promo. I need to have something going on behind me.
That's right.
While we talk about
Makes
the
sense.
A Show, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at twitch.tv/the A Show and at Twitter at _the A Show and on patreon.com/the A Show. Is no, not really. No, I'm out of my game because Vet just like talked for the last 30 minutes of the show. So it was fun. It was fun. I was trying to interact in the chat and do some things back in the background. I was also checking out my my Shiba Inu coin that we talked about at the top of the show. Right now we're at still like 3 millionths, 3 bajillionths of a cent. But we're gonna get there, Vet. We're gonna get there one of these days.
To the moon.
To the moon and back, baby. You heard it here on the Impact Attack. That's where Brandon's gonna take us. Brandon's gonna take us to the moon.
In more
Ladies
ways
and
than
gentlemen.
one.
That is true. But guess what? Not only do we own the night, but we own the early morning here at the Impact Attack.